So, Oliver, as I mentioned, my co-host would like to ask you a couple questions, if that's all right.
Yeah,
Okay.
sure.
I wanted to ask you about Natural Born Killers. That's like one of my all-time favorite films. You had to work with someone else's script and you directed the film. Like, what is that like? Like
Well,
taking
first
from.
of all, we bought a script by Quentin Tarantino that had been around, had been rejected, and not made. And I just want to specify, because it's important to understand, that Tarantino made it really clear to the producers and to me that he was not making that movie. So it wasn't like we stole his script. It was paid very well.
That's I didn't think you stole it.
There were stories. I mean, this is the most like so many rumors exist around that. What we did was I liked the basis of the script. It was interesting, but we really reworked it heavily into what it became, which is, I believe, a bigger story about bigger issues, about the prison system, about the police system. And we really worked it as trying a sociological example of what violence can do in the media. Now that was in the Quentin script, and he had the character of the Australian journalist. I think it was
Wayne Gale.
but we really broadened it, and we put a lot of new lines in. It was Richard Ratowski, myself, and David. I forgot. I'm sorry, the last name. He helped us a lot. We did a great deal of work on it, like as it is with all scripts I've worked on. It becomes, it's a collaboration. It works through different layers. So let's get that aside, because you can read both versions, and people have, and you can see the difference.
So what was it about it that like made it stand out to you as something that you wanted to work with?
At that time, this is 1994. I viewed it as an answer to what the media was becoming, that it was becoming so sensationalized. If you remember, there was a series of murders, and they were prominent. They were taking over the news. The biggest one was the O.J. Simpson murder, which dominated the news as if there was nothing else going on in the world. Sensationalism became the menu of the day, which is dangerous for society because it distorts the values of it.
It still exists today.
Oh, it became
yeah.
You understand, in 1990, I felt like this is new. They're spending more and more money and time on this, and the OJ trial must have made a lot of money for television. You have to realize that it was always on the air, no matter what channel you went to. They'd update. So there was a tremendous amount of advertising money that was made. News became for profit, and that is horrible for society.
Mm-hmm.
Capitalism, when taken in excess, can ruin anything.
Yeah, media today still is bought and sold. What is the significance of the yin yang symbol that we see Mickey wear on his left ear, like in the film? It's like a prominent symbol, and I'm still not really sure I quite grasp the whole concept of it as it applies in the film. I know that's kind of specific, but
the snakes that were winding through.
No, not the snakes. The yin yang symbol. Mickey has it on his left ear. Wears it on his left earlobe, and he also has a tattoo of it, like later in the film.
Well, he certainly was a feminist at his time, wasn't he?
I guess so. Yeah. And he also wears white in the anime sequence. I don't think I really got that. He wears like all white.
In the animated,
where he's like muscly and he's like, like sprinting down a hallway.
Yeah, sure. Why white? Well, because maybe the artist was very moved by the fact that he first appears in an apron. He's a butcher boy, the delivery boy from the meat store. But it was a Korean artist. I believe it was a Korean firm that did that, and. We were playing with it. Certainly it was novel at the time. Certainly it was done with Roger Rabbit, but we wanted also to push that into this sphere of this madness, this chaos we're creating.
And what is it like to work with like Woody Harrelson and say Robert Downey Jr. and you like watch their careers like blow up over time? You're like, oh, I remember Like, is that strange to you? Is that
No, no, not at all. They're both very talented. Both Woody was coming off of a film with Demi Moore and Robert Redford, but they hadn't really used his malicious side. His Woody has that evil smile or whatever. I love that smile. It's mischievous, and he's charming. And I just saw the moment he came in and I met him, I just felt he was right for this. He comes from that milieu. He comes from that sort of American heartland, and the way he thinks and talks. And he was cool as a cucumber, and nobody had seen him like that. He'd been on Cheers, I think, as a good guy. Remember the TV show?
Yeah,
so he was known as a bartender or something. I never watched it, but I enjoyed working with him so much. And he's laid back, and he is what he is. And Robert was a dynamic talent. I mean, he'd been in the Attenborough movie as Charlie Chaplin, did a great job. Charlie Chaplin movie, been nominated for Oscars. So he was a known entity. And but I was very delighted that he took a smaller role. It wasn't the main role, but he is the third character in the movie because they kill him at the end, you know. And I think it had more impact it being Robert Downey. He was great. And by the way, he's the one who tried to play Steve Dunleavy, who was an Australian newscaster, a sensationalist of something, working in America at that time. So I think he did a pretty good job of imitating a madman in the media.
What about Juliette Lewis? How did you cast her?
Juliette, we cast off Marty's film, wasn't it? The Cape Fear, and she was a young girl. She was.
Oh yeah. Okay.
And,
okay.
What they call an Agenoué. She was Agenoué, and I don't know what the American word for that is, but she was rebellious and wild and not terribly disciplined at that point in her life as an actress. But and I had to get her in shape, man. Boy, that was hard. Getting her to physically work out every day with a trainer was a number. She was a wild animal. I like that.
It definitely paid off, that the scene in the diner, like right in the beginning. It just like blows me away where she's got like the finger guns. I love that. And what about Tom Sizemore?
Tom Sizemore. He was in Born on the 4th of July. I think I met him there, and he was a character. Tom. He loved it. I mean, he's a very good actor. I mean, yes, he has his excesses, as you know, but he's so evil in a way. But he plays the cop. I put him in.
He seems like perfect for that. Like he was like born for it.
And what he did with it was unbelievable. I mean, embarrassing in some ways, but he got down, man, and he enjoyed himself. It was a wild shoot because all of them were a little nutty, and interacting with each other. And Tommy Lee Jones too. It was. Wow. Tommy, I'd worked with on Heaven and Earth and JFK. So we had fun with it. He came in, he said, let me wear a jacket that's too small for me. So, I look like a muscle man. And if you notice, he looks like something out of a Wile E. Coyote or one of those Tex Jones commercial cartoons, right? We played him like, a mustache twirling villain. We were into satire. I mean, it didn't matter. We were just going for it. The biggest Rodney Dangerfield. God, I loved him.
Yeah.
I mean, we had fun, and we weren't worried about reality. I'd been working in reality at that point quite a few times. Making Born on the 4th of July, JFK. Movies about real people. I wanted to get away from it all, and I just let it go. It was like a cartoon for me. What surprised me when the movie came out was the negative reaction to, as if it was realistic. To me, it was not even close to reality. It was a cartoon from the beginning. I saw it that way, but not other people. People had no sense of humor about that. They took it literally. They thought that this was real violence.
Well, I don't know. It almost kind of is, because I mean, if you look at Mickey compared to Jack Scagnetti, they're both kind of psychopaths, but they're on different sides of the law. And that's kind of what I think I like the most about the movie is the statement that it makes about people who have authority and don't are just as capable of good and evil. But I think we're out of time. I'm gonna have to hand the mic back to Steve.
I see where.
I'll just say one more thing, okay? I think what bothered people was something about what you just said. You said he's one guy's on the side of the law. Well, that was just the point of the movie. The law is fucked up. The system is fucked up. It was, think about it, the media, the cops, the prison system. That's the system. They are all fucked up in the movie.
Yeah,
and here are these two psycho killers, these two who kill 50-some people, but they're not as bad as the that they run into. So that upsets people, you know? Like I'm saying, you know, they're not so bad. Look what they're up against. And I question the whole concept of a society that's gone berserk, frankly, than I did at the time. And I don't think I'm so wrong. I think there's a lot of berserkness. And
I think that movie's a bullseye to me. So
yeah, thank you.
Thanks for it.